Got peace? Here's how you can create peace on demand. I'm so glad that you're here. By the end of this video, you're going to know how some people can remain at peace even when the world is falling down around them, and how you can get there too. I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins. I'm a professional psychologist, and I've spent my career studying how people think and what impact that has on their lives and their relationships. My job as a psychologist is to illuminate the obvious. Isn't that fun? I get paid to tell people things they already know, but there's a lot of obvious things that are completely unnoticed until they're called to your attention. Like the feeling of your clothing on your body right now. Can you feel it? Now you can feel it. Why? Because I called it to your attention. Many of the processes in our mind are in that space. They're obvious once they're called to your attention, but unnoticed until the time someone mentions them to you. So the first of those mental processes that I want to call to your attention is metacognition. Metacognition is a fancy psychobabble word, and it just means thinking about thinking. Notice that you can do this. Do you see it? You can think about your own thinking. This is really good news because metacognition creates a space. In that space is where choice exists. And until you see it as a choice, it's not. And you're going to roll with whatever your programming is. So turn on the metacognition. Notice that you can think about your own thinking. And then notice this. You are constantly judging. Aren't you? Yeah, you are. You're judgy McJudgy pants. You're constantly judging. You judge yourself pretty harshly sometimes. You judge your spouse. You judge your kids. You judge your coworkers. You judge the government, the presidential candidates. You judge the weather and the economy. You're judging me. It's cool. I'm judging you. We can't turn it off. It's part of what we do as humans. And this is because your brain has two main jobs: to keep you safe and to prove you right. But to keep you safe, your mind has to keep the judging turned on. You are constantly evaluating your world to make sure that you're still safe. It's what your brain is supposed to do. And it creates little problems for us from time to time. So notice this next. Judging or evaluation implies comparison with some standard. Now, if you don't have a standard of comparison, your brain will make one up, and then you will judge according to whatever it is that you made up in your own mind. So let's tie this into a powerful model of positive psychology that I'll share with you here on the screen. On this visual, you'll see on the arrow, it says what it is. It is what it is. Now that can be annoying depending on who's saying it and why. But all it means for our conversation today is the way things are for you right now. It's where you are, it's who you're with, it's what you have, it's the way things are without changing anything. It is what it is. You'll notice also on this arrow that each end of the arrow shows either better or worse. And what this means is that your circumstances could always be worse or better. Do you see that? Now let's make sure that's true before we move forward, because if that's true, then what you choose to compare your circumstances to is going to make a huge difference. Let's come back to see exactly what that difference is after you have a chance to get a copy of that model. I've prepared for you a full color PDF version of this model. Just go to the URL on the screen, drpauljenkins.com/themodel. Let's get this into your hands so that you'll have a reference point for what we're talking about. So think for just a minute about your what it is. Your circumstance right now, maybe the one that has you feeling challenged to experience peace. What is it? A diagnosis? Maybe it's a financial condition. Maybe it's a relationship issue that's going on. Whatever it is for you that's been disrupting your peace, call that to mind right now. Notice that you are evaluating or judging your circumstance. Notice that that has to do with whatever you compare it to. When you take your situation, your what it is, and you compare it to something much better, then how do you feel about what you got? It stinks. This is awful, and it is. Compared to something better, this really is bad. When we judge what we have to be bad, do we feel peace? No. We feel disruption and turmoil and depression because this is not the way that it should be. Notice that. What happens if we switch up the way we judge or compare or evaluate our what it is? Because it could always be worse, couldn't it? Now, don't take my word for this. I want you to just test it out and see if it's true. Okay? Is that true? That no matter how bad things seem right now, it could always be worse. Is that true? And I don't say this to diminish the difficulty or to minimize the problem that might be causing this disruption in your life. I'm doing it so that you'll notice that you're judging this in a particular way and it could always be worse. Now, what happens if we compare what we've got to something worse? What if I put it this way? Okay, you got a choice, all right? You can keep what you got, or we can arrange to get you something worse. Now, which one do you want? Duh. When you have that choice, it's obvious. Notice that you are choosing to keep what you've got because you're comparing it now to something worse. Now, if I were to offer you something better, you're going to take that in a heartbeat. This evaluation stage of our thinking allows us to create the energy or the feelings that are going to carry us forward. When you compare what you've got to something worse, you'll keep what you've got, thank you. Right? I do too. So just notice that. What is the feeling associated with that? When you realize that what you have is better than what you might have? Oh, feel that energetic shift? That is the beginning of peace. You're coming to peace with what it is. And sometimes you don't get to choose what it is. So that's what makes it so important. When you consider your choice, remember, you don't get to choose what it is. Sometimes that just lands in your lap. What do you get to choose? How you judge it. That is always a choice. And until you see it as a choice, it's not. Meaning you'll just roll with whatever your programming is or whatever you're already used to thinking about your particular challenge. Whatever your what it is. I've just shared with you how you can create peace on demand. It has everything to do with your thinking and less to do with your circumstances than you might have thought before. Remember to get a hold of that model that I promised you. Once again, drpauljenkins.com/themodel. Go get it.